Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Andy at Cruise Productions, and today I am joined by Sonia Cervantes. And Sonia and I are both going to be at the Wellness Event 2026 at Casa Sur Hacienda on January 31st. So today I'm welcoming Sonia from Sonia's Healthy Corner to talk about what she's going to be covering at the event, talk about her business, how you can benefit from probably some better healthy nutritional choices in life. I'm pretty sure this episode is as much for me as it is for you. So, Sonia, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much for having me. It's exciting. And yes, I'm totally excited about the event on January 31st. So hopefully you guys can join us.
I think it's going to be a great event. I've already been talking to a number of people who I didn't know they had already heard about it through social or through the email campaign. And they're like, hey, I saw you're coming to the thing. I'm like, I didn't know you were going to be there. So so it's been fun to see some of my business friends already tell me that they're going. So what is it that you're going to be teaching everyone at the event?
Okay, so on January 31st, I will be playing some shortcuts and highlights of a health documentary, and all is around the topic of chronic inflammation. So I'm very, very excited because this is a very near and dear topic to my, to my health, but to everybody's health. And this is a documentary that is very empowering and inspirational. It's the journey of a young woman that is struggling with chronic inflammation and how she overcomes all those struggles just through lifestyle changes and nutrition.
I know that this topic has been coming up a lot because I see it. I don't necessarily go out chasing this information, but I'm seeing a lot of it on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and even like long form talk shows where people are talking about how there's so many negative health outcomes that are connected to inflammation. Without casting stones, I'm sure there's a variety of reasons for this, but how do you start with people by getting them to understand that inflammation is actually one of the main culprits for some of these things?
Correct. So I think it's important that we go back a little bit and acknowledge that there are two types of inflammation, right? So inflammation, acute inflammation, is our body defending itself through the immune system. So it's an innate part of our bodies, right? It's part of the immune system to defend yourself against any injury, pathogen, bacteria, infection, virus, whatever it is, right? So our cells are programmed, this is how we are divinely designed, right? Our trillions of cells. We have those military cells that part of our immune system that go and attack whatever they think is, a foreign object or disease. That's normal. Without inflammation, we couldn't have an immune system, right? So we need that. However, chronic inflammation is when that button never shuts off. Our immune system is always on the go. And that creates havoc in our system, in our tissues, in our systems, in our organs. It's like the button never shuts off. So when we talk about chronic inflammation, we're talking about, and yes, you're right. You see it everywhere. Even, when you're paying at the grocery store, I don't know if you look at the register, there's all these magazines, one of the big ones, right? Inflammation. And it's been a buzzword for a while for a good reason. We cannot talk about Alzheimer's. We cannot talk about diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease without taking into account chronic inflammation. Actually, the World Health Organization recognizes that chronic conditions caused by chronic inflammation are the number one cause of deaths worldwide.
I'm not surprised by that. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised by that. I think the volume at which that message is being shared and also just the breadth of where it's all seen, like you mentioned, even the grocery store, the magazine rack, it's there too. You said that and my mind was like, oh yeah, you just saw that one the other day.
I know it is. Yeah.
But I'm estimating that it's part, I think, our cultural behavioral norms. Like we're busy, and then that then spills into our food choices, and then our food choices cause some of these things, and then we don't sleep as well, we don't hydrate as well, and then we go get busy again, and we make those same choices. Like this wicked cycle.
It's a vicious cycle, absolutely.
And so when people come to the event on the 31st, are you going to be able to talk to some people about like some ways that food can help cure that cycle and maybe kick you right back out of the bad one and into a good one?
Absolutely. 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 I mean, it's not an overnight process, right? But you got to start somewhere, and you got to start today. And we're human. So yeah, we're not aiming to perfection. We're aiming to progress, right? So beginning of the year, everybody's thinking, well, weight loss, this and that. But you know what? Let's get healthy first, right? One step at a time, one bite at a time. Fortunately, there is evidence-based and research behind that. By adopting lifestyle changes in good nutrition, we can reverse some of those conditions. So January 31st, we're going to have those highlights. And I am also going to talk about how we can make it easy, right? Go back to basics. And yes, we're going to talk about food because that's my favorite subject. You know, I'm a foodie. We're definitely going to talk about that because it's everything that you put in your body is going to nourish those cells, all right? So it's going to put you either closer to health or closer to disease. But we're also going to talk about lifestyle, right? You're talking about stress management. You just said we're all busy. I mean, we're all busy, right? Especially, you know, here in California, the first question is like, hey, how have you been doing? Oh, I'm so busy. And then I'm tired. Then I get stressed.
I was just going to say.
Busy and tired and stressed. And, you know, it's a vicious cycle, right?
Yeah, they're always in the top 3, right?
Sleep, you know, or lack of sleep or restful sleep, right? And stress management, sleep. And then, of course, community. The social support aspect, which we don't talk about because we're just busy, right? We need a tribe. We need that social support. We talk about the blue zones and this and that. Okay, there's nothing to say that we cannot adopt those changes.
You know, something I think I've been more, as I've become older and I've been around the business community now, like turning on 2 decades, I've seen more and more people my age like go, hold on. Maybe the whole grind and just hustle hard until you're, you know, the whole I'll sleep when I'm dead thing, man, that's not the way. It is, you know, we've seen it create more problems for people than solutions. And you might think, oh, well, that's what someone who's broke says, or that's what someone who isn't making it says is an excuse not to actually have business success or material success. And it unironically, they go together. They go hand in hand a lot.
Health as well.
Health, business, being healthy in business, it has a lot to do with being healthy in your life. And there's things I'm trying to pursue differently this year for my life and for my business, and they both coalesce into mutual success for one another. And I'm really glad that more and more people are witnessing that and seeing that, and that this specific event is blending those two things together because health and wellness in both areas of your life, if you are in business, you're an entrepreneur, your personal health and your nutrition and your rest are all really key qualities of that.
Absolutely. And, you know, they say health is wealth, and it is so true. And I tell you why I started in this path is, you know, busy as everybody, right? But I saw my own parents, like my father worked out hard all of his life, looking forward to retirement. But unfortunately, you know, we get to the grind, you know, the rat race, you never get off. And by the time he retired, my mom had developed chronic conditions. Then he became a caregiver. Then by the time she passed, then he became ill. So when are you going to really enjoy your retirement? Wow. So it's okay. I mean, we all need to work. We obviously want to be successful, but we got to be mindful of that. There has to be some balance, and we got to take care of ourselves if we want to be successful, right? I mean, we want to show up healthy.
I want to talk about what is called the superfood journey, like this 5-week anti-inflammatory program. I think you mentioned a couple of them already.
Right.
So it's like a 5-week program that you take people through. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know we're gonna go into the details of this at the event, but kind of what are those bullet points that we should review today about that?
Yes. So the 5-week anti-inflammatory process, superfood journey, because guess what? We are going to have some really cool cooking demos, and the participants are going to walk away with the experience of hands-on. Always we say, you know, it's easier said than done. Eating healthy is expensive. We're going to have some cooking demos to show you, you know what, it's not. Super practical, back to basics. You walk away with the recipes. You can replicate at home. You don't have to be a chef. So we're going to do those on each of the sessions, 5 weeks. But each week is going to have an individual takeaway. So they're divided between, yes, nutrition, of course, the microbiome. We're even going to talk about menopause and for men, andropause as well, our hormonal balance. And then we're also going to put into practice, what we teach, which is we're even going to do a, smart grocery trip, because what you put in your grocery cart is what you eat.
We have a little saying is, if you don't want to eat it, then don't buy it at the grocery store. Like, because if it gets in the cart, it gets in the pantry. If it gets in the pantry, it gets in my mouth, and I'm eating those cookies or oh man, I love snacks. I'm such a snack guy, but me
too. I love salty stuff, so that's
savory
poison, right? That's me. That's my thing. The salt.
I like salty chips and snacks, and I also like sweet stuff too. But I've been turning even already this year. I've already turned more towards like a banana, apple, cuties and oranges and that kind of thing. Like, yeah. I even had some celery last night. Okay, you guys, give me a break. I want to make a pit stop really quick though, because you brought up menopause. I know that you have a lot of insight about this specific topic. Little known fact: we actually have had a doctor here in studio talking for a long conversation about menopause and perimenopause. So, can you kind of talk about what are the connections between the superfood journey and the menopause that women might be experiencing right now?
Yeah, and well, near and dear to my heart, some one of them. So, in the last, what is it? I don't know, a few years, we are finally giving it the attention that it requires, especially in the business world, right? Because some of us are in that age and we're in the corporate world, or you have your own business. And, some of the symptoms like fatigue and brain fog and not sleeping enough and, irritability and amongst other physical challenges are caused by menopause symptoms, which we're all going to go through that as women and men with andropause. Nonetheless, there is a way that we can take action and empower ourselves to tame those. The correlation between menopause and inflammation is big. Why? Because as our hormones go out of balance, then inflammation goes up. And when I'm saying hormones, I'm not just talking about, the obviously estrogen goes down, then we have progesterone and testosterone. Those are the hormones that we always talk about when we recognize or when we talk about menopause. However, it creates an imbalance also in insulin, because insulin is a hormone. So now we're talking about the risk of diabetes. And how about the risk of high blood pressure and heart disease? Then we're talking about stress. The cortisol is a hormone. Then we start experiencing more visceral fat, and that creates toxins. So it's kind of like it puts you in a labyrinth there.
Yeah,
but they're all connected.
Like this domino effect impact.
Yeah.
But I know, and it's probably. I think for a long time this was unspoken, and maybe I'm hearing more about it now because I'm also in this kind of like long form conversation spaces. But I've overheard or directly heard a lot of women talk about just feeling alone and isolated in it. But at the same time, it's like, I know that a lot of other women go through this, but I feel so alone. Like how what would you say to someone who might be like watching this and they're thinking about coming to the 31st and then maybe they feel alone? Like, what do you usually tell women to encourage them if they're not?
Well, definitely come to the 5 weeks, because what's going to happen is the January 31st is just a one standalone event, right? We're going to talk about the movie or the documentary, and we're going to have like really actionable key takeaways and tips and tricks. But if you really want to dive into what we each, takeaway is for each week, come and join us, because you're going to be part of a community, because you're not alone. There's going to be a lot of us there, and we're going to create actually a very fine, engaging environment. So you're going to learn, definitely, knowledge is power. We're going to empower you. We're going to give you the tools, but you're going to have fun. So, hey, that's pretty good to me.
That's really good. I like that what you're bringing to this is just more than theoretical, and it's very practical. And I don't mean theoretical like it's not true. It's just you can talk about theory all day long, but without any practical ways to go back home and do these things when you are not in the community space, but you're on your own at your house, in your week and your calendar and your life and your expectations. Like, yeah, the grocery stop's going to be part of your week at some point. Eating's going to be part of your day every day. And having an actual framework for that, I think, is super important.
Yeah.
I also know...
Of course, we're going to do some cooking demos where they're going to be able to taste we're not going to talk about it. We're actually going to give samples. So
That's right. You can actually enjoy the type of food that we're talking about,
Yes.
not just hear about it and go, I wonder if it's even any good.
That
No.
was very green.
We're gonna eat. That's the other thing I love about events at Casa Sur is like, okay, there's an education component. There's like an entertainment. There's entertainment in between the panels and in between the sessions. There's always food and beverage and music, so that's always fun too.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just so I like that you're doing this at that event because yes, it's the new year. Yes, people have resolutions. Yes, people are setting their sights on their health. But you know, if you are a business person and your family relies on your productivity, your presence, and you actually being alive and well in order to have a fulfilled and purposeful life, this is why these things are happening. This is why we hold these events and why we do these is so that you can continue doing the thing you do that serves the clientele you have and the community, and also by default, serving your family well as well. So Sonia, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, me as well. And you just said something very, very important because we think as individuals, right? Self-care is part of our routine, work-life balance. But what about our family members? I mean, more and more we're seeing younger and younger children experiencing inflammation. This is not just a disease that comes with aging. That's called inflammaging. This is something that starts very young. So if we can learn something and share it with our loved ones, why not?
Yeah, our ailments are byproducts of our habits. Like that's not for all you. That's for me. That was a little reminder for Andy in the corner.
Human, right? You're human. You don't live in a bubble. So yeah.
I think I saw Jill laugh behind the camera over there. Yeah, ailments are a byproduct of your habits, Dad. I am so excited to learn more about this when I'm with you on 31st. Can you please tell everyone where to find you online? Let's give everyone, like, how do you find Sonia? Maybe you're out of the area and you are watching this, but you don't even live in southern San Diego, or you're not even in California, but you're seeing this, but you want to know more. What is a great way for people to connect with you?
Well, they can go to my website, soniashealthycorner.com. I also have a YouTube channel that I should be a little this year. There's resolutions for everyone. I do have some cooking videos there, but that's the idea, to do more. And I also do virtual wellness webinars and cooking classes. So if you're out of state or out of the city, that doesn't stop you. I do a lot of stuff virtually. And you can follow me on social media, my Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube.
Awesome. We're going to put all that in the description box below. If you are hearing this and you're watching this on your TV or laptop or your computer, tablet, you can go to soniashealthycorner.com. I think that's your website where all that information will be there as well. And you will also find the registration link for the event we will both be at on Saturday, January 31st, in the description box below. Make sure you sign up. We have morning, afternoon, and early evening, mid-evening sessions going on. It's a whole day experience. Bring yourself, bring a loved one, bring a coworker, bring a business partner, bring someone you care about who you want to see their best health and wealth in 2026. That is what this is all about. And I wanted to thank you for being a sponsor. Sonia's here today with me because she's sponsoring the event, not just at the event. So, Sonia, thank you so much for contributing to the overall education of the day and the overall experience. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for coming to the studio. Thank you all for watching our interview today with Sonia Cervantes, with Sonia's Healthy Corner. I am so excited for this event. We hope to see you all there. Make sure you register. Click the button below. See ya.
Absolutely.